Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, on TikTok at Movies TV Mad XXX, and on Instagram at Movies TV Mad 555. So earlier on today, you saw me reacting finally to the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Just over 3 minutes of goodness, and we are going to talk about it. So how did we think Doc Ock looked? There's definitely some age reduction there with the help of VFX, computer generated images there, but I think he looks fantastic. The claws or the octopus stuff looks amazing, looks just like it did in Spider-Man 2, and I think they've done a good job there to make sure he looks like kind of similar as he did in Spider-Man 2. Now we've got to be careful here because Doc Ock and Green Goblin, whose laugh we heard and whose goblin bomb we saw roll out on the floor like that, which was awesome, these characters were killed off in Raimi's universe. So what does this mean? Either the spell that, and let's say it, fake Doctor Strange, because that's no way Doctor Strange, but I think the spell he's done, maybe he's rebooted the multiverse and not just cast a spell to make sure everyone forgets that Peter is Spider-Man. And I think kind of in the rumours we've heard, I mean, this trailer is exactly what we thought it was going to be. We knew we'd never see Toby and Andy, but we saw some other cool stuff here. Maybe the spell has rebooted the multiverse, but it could go deeper than that. It could be that after Mysterio was killed, that somehow Peter was on another Earth. That could be a good spot. And I've always actually thought this, by the way. It was just weird how Jameson just showed up on the news thing all of a sudden and Peter was outed as Spider-Man. Maybe somehow, after Mysterio was killed, something happens within the multiverse and Peter seeps through to another Earth. Now, the spell that, let's just say, Earth 2 Doctor Strange did, because no way is that the Doctor Strange from the MCU Earth 1, I don't believe it. So let's just say, from the ending, from the very ending of Spider-Man Far From Home, that somehow Peter's on another Earth, and this is why he's been outed all of a sudden and everything's going to shit. Now what does this mean? That the MJ and the Ned and the Aunt May are Earth 2 versions as well, and Peter's just not realising this, that actually something that happened from the moment Mysterio dies means that Peter finds himself in an alternate Earth. We're calling it, or I'm calling it, Earth 2. This sounds like a real thing. So what is the spell that Earth 2 Doctor Strange has done? It could be the rebooting of the multiverse, or it could be something more evil, because this could be a Dr. Evil Doctor Strange as well. Look at the way he looks at his assistant when he goes, "Don't do that spell." And he smiles evilly. Let's not forget evilly. He looks at the guy with disdain. And that's not how Doctor Strange would look at that guy. I apologise, I don't remember the character's name. So, that's my theory. Yeah, and that's going to be my ongoing theory, that from the end moment, from the moment Mysterio is killed in Far From Home, that Peter has found himself in a Back to the Future 2 scenario without knowing it. All of a sudden, he's found himself on another Earth, or a version of his Earth that's a little bit changed now. Maybe the events of killing Mysterio changed something, and I don't know why, and I don't know how. Which could mean that Mysterio could still be alive, or this alternate version still has a kind of Biff Tannen-y version of Mysterio. So it's very interesting who the villain of this film is, but this is going to be a film with many, many villains as well. We know William Dafoe's Green Goblin's going to be in it. We know Alfred Molina. We know Al's. We saw that Al's Doc Ock is in this movie, and he looks great. So that's 2 villains already. If Mysterio is still around, and then we've got Doctor Strange, who could also be the villain. He's standing on that train kind of ominously, how do you say the word? And so I definitely think he's a third villain. And so there's that. So if I'm right, I think this would be a more believable scenario rather than Peter interfering with the spell and saying, please, I don't want Ned or MJ or Aunt May to forget. And that being the reason the multiverse is enacted. I'll repeat, I believe something happened after Mysterio died in Far From Home. It's an action-packed trailer. There's a lot of things going on. I'm not the type who kind of has eagle eyes to see everything, but Doctor Strange does tell Peter that there's now two versions of him leading two separate lives. Now, does he mean Tom Holland's Peter Parker and another Spider-Man, let's say Tobey Maguire, or is it Tobey and Andy? I mean, it sounds like he's talking about Tom Holland's Spider-Man and another Spider-Man, but what that causes is multiple versions of Spider-Man, of course. And it's pretty obvious, worst kept secret in Hollywood history, that all three Spider-Men could rise up together, but of course we could have more Spider-Men as well. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Nobody really knows what we're going to get in this movie, but it's a lot more than in the trailer. The trailer's very good because it does what all trailers and marketing does. It doesn't give the game away. It doesn't show you everything, but it shows you enough to say, wow, this is going to be freaking amazing. This is going to be the battle of Peter Parker's life. And I think the moral commentary here as well is about Peter wanting to keep who he is a secret. And maybe the moral of this film is that he can't, that everybody is just going to know who he is. But how does he live like that? And plus, this is why I think it's in an alternate universe as well, because the reaction to him being Spider-Man all of a sudden is weird. Why does everyone hate him? It's weird. They loved him before they knew, they loved Spidey before they knew, Peter was Spider-Man. Why all of a sudden would they hate Peter? Calling him out as a liar, whatever. That actually doesn't make sense. But then when we look at the internet and how people are cancelled and things like that, it's quite believable if you look at the reality of the situation. A Batman versus Superman vibe there as well, with the public hating Peter. Now they know who he is and that he's not lied to them, but he hasn't told them the truth. The whole world didn't ask him if he was Spider-Man and he said, no, I'm not. He's just trying to protect the people he knows. This is why a lot of YouTubers, a lot of famous people use stage names so you can't track them down. And if you're a bit of an obsessive nut job, you can't do them any damage. That's the whole point. That's why Siegel and Schuster created a double identity for Superman and Clark Kent, so no one can track him down. That is the whole point of a dual identity. This is a 10 out of 10 trailer. It is absolutely fantastic. There's so many things to feast over in this trailer, but that is my theory, that we've been in an alternate kind of Earth, an Earth 2, ever since the end of Far From Home. I would love to know what you thought of the trailer. Did you enjoy it? What bits have you noticed that I haven't? Because I just don't have an eye for detail, unfortunately. I will be back a little bit later on with the Movies TV Mad Daily with a very, very huge exclusive. I'm going to tell you David Zaslav's and Warner Discovery's plans for DC and DC Studios. Yes, DC Studios. So make sure you tune in later on to Tuesday's edition of the Movies TV Mad Daily. Until then, goodbye. Don't forget, follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, TikTok at Movies TV Mad XXX, and Instagram at Movies TV Mad 555. See you later on today for the Movies TV Mad Daily with a big exclusive. Until then, goodbye.